At approximately 8:15 on December 18, 1998, 911 operators in Tacoma, Washington, were flooded with calls from the 1700 block of East 40th Street in the Salishan neighborhood. Multiple callers reported a frightening domestic violence incident that was still underway. Witnesses reported that one of their neighbors had been out in her yard with her 2 children. A man the callers did not recognize was yelling at them. Wrapped Christmas presents were scattered on the ground in the front yard. The man was yelling at the woman and then brandished a baseball bat. When he threatened her with it, she ran inside the duplex where she lived in an attempt to get away from him. The man chased her inside. A short time later, he reappeared in the doorway, still holding the baseball bat. He yelled at the children to come inside with him. The children were scared and crying, but obeyed him and went inside their home. The 911 callers reported hearing concerning noises from inside the home, shouting, crying, and screaming. There were loud bangs and the sound of breaking glass. All of a sudden, a loud explosion came from inside the house, and flames quickly became visible from outside. The police were already on their way at the time the explosion occurred, and the fire department was notified that they would also be needed at the scene. One neighbor told the 911 operator that they saw the man they had seen in the front yard run out of the home's back door just as the explosion occurred. He was somehow able to get away, despite the growing number of people at the scene. He may have gotten into a waiting, dark sedan and been driven away by another unknown individual. The woman and her children did not exit the home, and the fire continued to grow. The fire department arrived at the scene approximately 15 minutes after the incident began outside the duplex. Flames were already coming through the windows of the home. They began searching for the woman and her children inside the house while they tried to control the fire, hoping that they could be rescued. While firefighters did locate all 3 of them, they could save none of them. The bodies of the woman and her 2 young children were found inside their home. The deceased woman was 26-year-old Linda Tran. At the time of her death, she had been 7 months pregnant with a little boy she had planned to name Joshua. Also killed were her 9-year-old daughter Patricia and her son Austin, who would have turned 2 years old in just 2 months. At the time of the murders, Linda's older brother was with his wife, shopping for Christmas presents for Patricia and Austin. Instead of putting the gifts under their Christmas tree, he put them in their caskets. Linda had been born in Vietnam and came to the United States with her family when she was 6 years old. She initially struggled acclimating to American culture, but eventually found things about it that she enjoyed, like the new kids on the block and playing bingo. Keeping her family's traditions alive in their new country was very important to Linda. She was very close with her family and spent her youth picking berries, roller skating, having sleepovers, and eating Vietnamese food while watching American cartoons with her cousins and 3 siblings. Linda was known for being dedicated to taking care of her family members, even from a young age. When her cousin Hannah had her tonsils taken out, Linda was there to take care of her. Linda struggled when she got to high school. She often skipped class and sometimes ran away from home. At 17, she became pregnant with Patricia and dropped out of school. She went to Seattle to make a fresh start for herself and her daughter, but quickly realized she was not providing her daughter with the best life possible. She brought Patricia back to Tacoma so that her parents could care for the baby. Linda's parents loved their granddaughter, and Patricia became especially close with her grandfather. Linda was not away from her daughter for very long, as her love for Patricia and the rest of her family brought her back to Tacoma within 2 years of her leaving for Seattle. She had gotten her priorities straight and was a devoted and caring mother. A few years after her return to Tacoma, she gave birth to her son Austin. At the time of her murder, Linda was taking cosmetology classes so that she could get a better job after her third child was born. 9-year-old Patricia had been a 4th grade student at Larchmont Elementary School. She loved going to school and learning of any kind. She did not have a favorite subject, as she loved learning about anything and everything she could. When she was out shopping with her family, her favorite place to visit was not the toy section, but the school supply aisle. Patricia loved both American culture and her family's Vietnamese culture. She spoke English and Vietnamese equally well. Her favorite movie was Pocahontas, and her favorite foods were Vietnamese. She loved candy, especially chocolate. She was very outgoing and artistic. She loved coloring and drawing, and was very proud of her artwork. She would organize coloring contests whenever she was in a group with other children. In addition to caring for her children, Linda also spent a great deal of time taking care of her parents. Linda was the eldest daughter in a family of 4 children, which she believed gave her an obligation to take care of the family, and she took that obligation very seriously. She cooked lunch for her father, Kiet, almost every day. Linda and her children spent much of the day of their murders with Kiet. They had plans to go out to eat at a Vietnamese restaurant together that night, but their plans changed at the last minute due to work obligations. Kiet had an unexpected customer arrive at the auto body shop he owned, which delayed him. Linda told him that she would simply go over to his house with the children and begin preparing dinner there while he worked instead. Patricia was upset because she had been excited to go to the restaurant. While she did not get to go out to eat as she had hoped, she did get special time with her grandfather later that evening. After the family ate the meal Linda prepared at her parents' home, Patricia sat with her grandfather and watched Wheel of Fortune on TV with him. Linda got a phone call from someone while she was at her parents' home. She told her family she needed to leave because someone was coming to her house to give the children Christmas presents. She did not specify who the person was. Patricia was once again upset, as she wanted to spend more time with her grandfather. She begged her mother to let her spend the night with her grandparents. Linda told her that she could not, as she needed to be at home to receive the Christmas presents with her brother. Linda, Patricia, and Austin left to go home around 7:45 p.m. Their family never saw them alive again. They would be dead within the hour. The family's autopsies revealed that all 3 of them had died as the result of blunt force trauma, smoke inhalation, and burns. Their killer had beaten them before locking them in the house, setting it on fire, and fleeing. Police believed he had doused the house with gasoline prior to Linda and her children arriving home. This extra time had given vapors the opportunity to build up inside of their half of the duplex, which was why there was an explosion when the fire was started. Unfortunately, even though the fire department was called immediately, the fire destroyed much of the crime scene, along with items that could have potentially been used as evidence. The bat, believed to have been used by the killer, was recovered and submitted for testing. However, no DNA or other potentially identifying evidence was found on it. Due to the nature of the crime and the facts indicating that Linda knew the killer, police believed that there was a personal motive for the murders. They interviewed all of Linda's former boyfriends and the fathers of her children. According to the police department, these men have all been cleared and are not suspected in the case. They have not released to the public exactly what information or evidence led to them eliminating these potential suspects. Police had also been called to Linda's home 24 hours before the murders. When Linda had arrived home with her children around 8 p.m. on December 17th, She had found that one of the back windows of the duplex had been smashed in. Police swept the home but found nothing. It is unclear if the broken window is connected to the murders or if the timing of the apparent attempted break-in was just a coincidence. Investigators working on the case throughout the years have stated that they believe the case will have to be solved by witnesses coming forward. They are hopeful that someone can identify the killer, thanks to information provided by Linda's neighbors at the time of the murders. According to witnesses who saw the man arguing with Linda in her front yard, the assailant had dark skin, although different witnesses reported him as being black or Asian. A sketch of the suspect was developed, and the Tacoma Police Department is asking anyone who recognizes the man depicted in the sketch to come forward. They also believe that the man may have sustained some burns from the fire he started. The deaths of Linda, Patricia, Austin, and Linda's unborn baby Joshua completely devastated their family. According to Linda's father Kiet, the murders and the grief they caused left him unable to work, as all he could think about were the murders and finding who was responsible for taking his loved ones away from him. The passage of nearly 27 years has not dulled their pain or their desire for justice, and whatever closure the identification of the killer may bring them. In 2025, Linda's sister Loana released a statement through the Tacoma News-Tribune, which reads, "For the past 26 years, my family and I have constantly felt the absence of Linda, Patricia, Austin, and Joshua. I always wonder what life would be like if they were still here, and I fear that my elderly parents won't be able to wait any longer for justice. If anyone could provide relevant information and help our family find closure, please come forward. Someone must know something."